Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of films.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
In terms of hotels, can you think of an example of like the best or worst experiences you've had? Off the top of your head?
Can't think of the best. That sounds bad, doesn't it? I can definitely. It's funny, isn't it? How everyone can always think of the worst.
Yeah,
which
it's always a funny story to tell.
is we were on a coach trip, and for some reason we were in Manchester, and then we stayed in a hotel in Blackpool. It was called the Sunny Days Inn. Don't go. I don't know if it's open now, to be fair. I can imagine with COVID it'll close down. It was the worst place ever. It didn't have any heating. It was freezing. It was in the middle of December because it was Christmas. And they gave you a little radiator to put in your room. They were meant to provide food, and they had to go back to Iceland or Aldi and get the cheapo, like, Smart Price. Like, I remember seeing a Smart Price, like, you know, them shitty garlic breads, like rock hard once you put them in because they're that crap. Yeah.
Yeah, never skimp on bread and never skimp on garlic bread either.
Well, no, you don't. And especially if it's a hotel, you'd thought you'd provide your guests with a bit of better food than maybe what you'd get in your own cupboard.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Spend a little bit more on it.
You want some level of quality.
Yeah.
To the food, at least. You shouldn't have to know where it comes from.
Well, no, you shouldn't see him walking in with the frozen freeze bags. Yeah. It was awful. We actually just didn't eat there. We went and got McDonald's. That's how bad it was.
Old reliable.
What about yourself? Have you got any?
No horror stories like that as such, but the only one that sort of springs to mind of like a really dingy place I stayed at was, I guess it was a hotel, or more like a B&B really, when I went for a job interview down in London one time, and just like, I need the cheapest hotel possible I could get really. And yeah, obviously, you know what London prices are like and stuff. It's like
wanting a single bed as well.
Yeah, it was absolutely shocking. It was
like a poky little hole.
Yeah, it's so like I say that's probably the worst if you can call it that. But you know, nothing springs to mind like amazing like hotels.
Obviously, we've been to Japan, and I think like a Ryokan or something like that. I would say there's plenty there that we did stay in, which were beautiful. Mm-hmm. But not one of those, like, luxury star...
5-star ones,
hotels.
Yeah.
I think the closest one I got to was Australia when we went for work was nice. However, after 5 weeks of being in a hotel, you get sick of being in a hotel. And the novelty wears off and it becomes like your home. And then you're getting kind of used to the people that work there.
First term.
Yeah.
Basis with the names.
I used to get little hampers in my room because I was there that long.
Oh, that was nice of him.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing up the hotel subject, obviously, is because the film we're going to be covering is called The Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson.
Sure it's not George Ezra? Budapest? No?
This song into the film. And this was way before he was on the scene.
When you say it, that's just straight away that song goes into my head.
So I know we've recently seen a film of Wes Anderson's on Disney Plus, and that was The French Dispatch. And it's probably not a good example. Not to say that the film was bad, but it was, to even I admit, it was a bit like
confusing,
disconjointed. Or a bit like all over the place a little bit in terms of structure and stuff with that. So it was a bit like
Bill Murray in this one as well? He
was in that one, yeah. It's he uses quite a few of the same people in his films. Obviously a reliable cast and.
Yeah, but I don't know. So when you said that to me, it kind of put me off a little bit, and I was like, I don't want to see it because I always been intrigued in this. Mm-hmm. And then you said that, and I was like, if it's going to be anything like that, that just flitted here, there, and everywhere and confused me.
This one is probably what most, if you say Wes Anderson, this is what they normally jump to as the film. It's the one that's most popular, I'd say.
Right.
Most mainstream, I guess. Apart from Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I adore.
I don't know why you adore it so much.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
I think it's just because it still has the style he puts into his films, but I think it's just because it's the stop motion element of it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it's all put together and how much time and effort is put into those things. It takes obviously a lot longer than animation, normal digital animation. So
It's true.
Yeah.
Very intricate.
Yep. So this one, I think you'll probably enjoy. I'm hoping. I'm hoping so. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. But it's very colourful and
Mm.
all the cinematography in this is almost like a portrait, really. Of.
I even knew it was colourful, and I don't know why I knew that because I haven't seen it.
No. But you've got some of the people involved in this. It's like an ensemble cast.
It's weird.
Yeah. You've got some of the names like Ralph. I think it's Ralph Fiennes, who's Voldemort in Harry Potter.
I was going to say that name rang a
and-
bell.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe, who's in Spider-Man.
Dafoe.
Norman
Let me look at him.
Osborn.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
Seems so weird. Is he going to be like a sexualized character? No?
Jude Law.
Where was he on there?
There.
Oh, yeah, I can see him now.
Showing her the cover, I forgot. And Bill Murray, as I say, like he's
Classic.
a main staple in the film. So is Owen Wilson. Wow.
Hate him. I don't really hate him, but I just, yeah. He's up there with, not as bad as Adam Sandler, but...
Mm-hmm. Tilda Swinton, who was in that short film we watched the other day as well.
I feel like I recognised
the
him.
human voice. Yeah.
That was strange too.
Yeah, she's in pretty other films as well. And the first role that says Tony Revolori, who was in the new Spider-Man film, as he is the Flash Thompson.
The best friend.
No, not the best friend. No, the one who's been asked to Peter Parker. Probably won't remember him as such, but he's the one who's like, he doesn't get on with thing, but then he tries to be his friend later on. I think, but anyway, yeah. So it's his first role. So those are names you might know, but obviously through the film you might be like picking up. Oh, I've seen. She looks familiar, or he looks familiar.
Probably, you know me.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So, lastly, before we get into watching the film, the blurb on the back.
Yep.
The Grand Budapest Hotel recounts the adventures of Gustav H., a legendary concierge at a famous European hotel between the wars, and Zero Mustafa, the lobby boy who becomes his most trusted friend. The story involves the theft and recovery of a priceless Renaissance painting, a raging battle for an enormous family fortune, a desperate chase on motorcycles, trains, sleds and skis, and the sweetest confection of a love affair, all against the backdrop of a suddenly and dramatically changing continent.
I'm just processing, like, everything you've said.
No, I don't expect you to.
I just, the love affair, I'm like, I feel like I saw on the front cover that like, there might be a little romance between, like, the younger two characters. But now I'm like, affair? So I'm already trying to, like Cluedo, trying to figure out who it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds interesting. So I'm excited to see it. I just hope I
it's
like
been on
it.
the list for a while, to be honest.
Your long list, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, for you to see, that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, we will be back shortly with our thoughts. Or your thoughts, more specifically.
It's all about me.
Dear God.
I'm terribly sorry, sir.
We must go to her.
We must?
Toot sweet. She needs me, and I need you to help me with my bags and so on. Attendez-moi, darling. How fast can you pack?
5 minutes.
Do it, and bring a bottle of the Pouilly Jouvet 26 in an ice bucket with 2 glasses so we don't have to drink the cat piss they serve on the dining car.
Yeah.
And we're back. And how was your stay at the Grand Budapest Hotel, Sophie?
Are you asking me when it was in its prime or when it's derelict and looking like it should be knocked down?
I mean, it wasn't like... It was sure at the beginning when it was reflecting on how things were in the 30s, it didn't look that bad when he was telling the story in the 60s.
No, but it looked like it was one of those run-down hotels where it hadn't been given a bit of love.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather go when it had just first opened. I think then that would be like one of those fanciful hotels you'd want to stay in. It looked like one of those hotels that had just needed a bit of love by the end of it, bless it. But overall, the movie is really brilliant. It's not really much about the hotel as such.
No, of course not. No, it's more about the people who are involved.
And a painting.
It's more of like a comic caper type.
It feels
thing.
a little bit like a Charlie Chaplin in some, like, the comic Running Away. There was a lot of running away scenes, and the comedy in it felt oldie, in a sense,
right,
to it.
So, have you seen any
No,
Charlie Chaplin?
but I studied some of it in uni, so I've kind of seen clips, but I've not really seen a full Charlie Chaplin, if that makes sense.
I only ask, but I haven't... I know of, obviously, Charlie Chaplin is, obviously, his comic timing and stuff, but I've not really seen a film of his in its entirety. I know I've got a set with films in that. Is that something you may be interested in?
100%.
At some point, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Because I like that humour. It's kind of that simplistic kind of humour where I would associate it with a Looney Tunes or something like that. Like, you don't really need to know any dialogue or anything like that.
Yeah. It's more physical humour, but not in a ridiculous way. Yeah.
And it's just not stupid. That humour for me works.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And this compared to the French Dispatch, was it more enjoyable as well?
Yeah. I could follow the story. I wasn't lost, of who is this and who is that. Yeah. Even though they were flitting back and from the storytellers, it kind of reminded me of The Life of Pi, a little bit the way it did it. So it was kind of, you sat down, two people talking about a story that was somebody's past life, and then flitting a little bit to them, but mainly you kind of going...
We're in the past. And did you notice how the screen aspect ratio was changing as well?
No.
Did you really not? No.
No.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Well, what I mean by that is, like, at the very beginning, when the narrator or the storyteller was the older man was in that study or whatever, and the boy came in and was like, messing stuff around or whatever, shooting a gun or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That was like really like zoomed in on the framing around it. There's a lot of black around that for like the what was be the present day for that setting. Then when it went to 1960s, when that same man who was in his young years, which was Jude Law's character, it was it was in widescreen.
Didn't connect that was Jude Law.
I'm pretty sure that was.
I forgot about him at the beginning. To be fair,
Again, he was only a minor element to that, but the rest of the film, when it was set in the 30s, was in just squared.
That makes sense though, because the camera formatting as well, probably, because they did have they were more square, medium format kind of.
Well, I think the film would have been in 60s, to be fair, so I don't think that's quite true in the fact that that's when the time period when TVs would have been that way. But I get your sense of.
I'm just thinking of the film though as well. Like they normally were square.
Yeah.
Films and such but no, I liked it. I really did. I didn't notice any of that though, that you're saying any of that. Didn't even realise the old man was Jude Law at the beginning. So basically you're telling me the author was Jude Law that heard the story of Zero, basically.
Yeah.
But then you don't really see him. He's like at the beginning for...
Yeah, fraction and maybe at the end.
I don't remember him at the end. I'm so oblivious when I watch films, aren't I?
No, I'm kind of surprised that you didn't pick up on the way that they didn't fill up the screen like a normal.
No. Maybe if I watched it again, I would look out for it. But
No.
it's like we watched Jurassic World and we went with your lovely friend Alex, who, if you haven't seen the Jurassic Parks 3, go and check it out.
Yeah.
But we went with his partner as well, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And there was a scene that we were both looking out for with somebody getting taken off a scooter.
Oh, yeah.
One of those things where you're looking and looking and looking, and then you don't see it. And I don't know if it's a female thing. We're taking the film for what it is. We're looking at everything that is there, but nothing really in the background. We're looking at the characters, we're looking at the story, we're looking at the lead. We're not looking...
To be fair, though, with that, I only knew that something like that scene existing because of seeing it in trailers and people are like, oh, look at this bit where this guy's getting eaten. Well, so I knew that was going to come, and obviously I've seen that situation multiple times on like amount of times seen on clips and stuff.
Yeah,
so
but that's why Alex's partner Shani was looking for that, and she was avidly looking out for it and still missed it.
It's a split second thing, almost.
But then if you're looking at the story and the character's over there, and then that happens to that person, we're not going to see it, are we? I know you do, because you're like one of those people who sees everything near enough.
Not all the time, to be fair. To the effect of, I didn't actually... There's a moment where a continuity error in this film that my brother picked up on that I didn't actually twig on until after the fact he pointed out to me. So, like, this is something I always remember from this film in particular. He's not a big, like, into watching a lot of films, but he noticed that the character Agatha, who was Zero's like squeeze, at the time in his younger years, it was the camera was facing. She was like profile, sat in bed, and her nightgown, slip strap, whatever, was down on her shoulder. Then there was a shot where it just cut to her like mid close up, and it was up on her shoulder. She hadn't moved it.
No.
But then cuts back to the other angle, and then it's down again. So there's observations like that you might not see all the time. So I don't. Yeah, to the Jurassic Park thing. Yeah, I'm not saying like look out for this one thing because it's just a very minor.
I don't know how Joe noticed it unless he was quite liking it and watched it quite avidly. That he was like fixated because I missed it completely. Like it was like no, didn't even see it come in. So.
Yeah. But even that held on for a lot longer for that scene, as opposed to someone getting eaten by a dinosaur. Yeah. So
I'm just oblivious. I just watch things and don't fully take all of it in, I guess. I watch it for what it is on the screen.
But sometimes you do pick up on certain things. But when we're done like first watches and stuff, and you kind of like are surprised, or you like, oh, you know how the plot's going to go, maybe not so much.
It's that. See, I know where the plot will go, and I know how it'll end. I'm very good at kind of predicting the story, but things that, bless them, somebody thinks, oh, this will be good to put in the background, I will probably not. I'll be oblivious to it.
But this is why it's good to have, things to rewatch sometimes. And like in this, there's so many like small intricacies with how the cinematography and the backgrounds of the hotel and all these other elements we've got going on, the intricacies that are put into this meticulousness, even down to things like printouts. You see them on screen for like letters or
the newspaper.
Yeah, things like that. Constantly thing, and he has put like a lot of work into like even writing out the stuff on himself, not just like scribbly lines like the easy way of doing it, or just like here's just a block of text that was it Lauren Ibsen, which is kind of like just filler text that you would just when you put it into like a Microsoft Word or something like that, it just kind of fills out it for you to make it look like there's text there, but it's all stuff that the director Wes Anderson has written out purposely, so there's meaning probably to all that he's written down on these things, and you don't even really see it.
Yeah.
For what, like half a second when it's panning down.
I feel like you must appreciate that more because within your line of work, there is like a background that you'll draw that will take you quite a while.
Yeah. And
then it'll be up on screen for like maybe 3 seconds.
Exactly, yeah.
And then it's gone. Yeah. But the amount of effort that you've had to actually go into.
Yeah, it's just like anything. You build something, like you might make a cake that looks so like amazing, and then it's cut it into it and eaten and whatever, destroyed, and that's like...
But at least if it's out, then that's a compliment. If it's left, that's when it's not.
Yeah. Easier to destroy something is to build. But there's also like little miniatures as well. Did you notice with the film? I particularly like some of the shots where like the exterior of like long distance thing with the hotel, or that little like tram carriage that leads up to the hotel and stuff. That's all like model work.
All right, no, I didn't know.
Miniatures, because the way it looks or the way it moves, it's not. Nothing looks like that in real life.
Yeah, because I asked you where this place was, the hotel, if it was a real place, and you was like, no, it's kind of all made
fictional.
up.
Yeah, there's obviously influences of the like Eastern European style of hotels or buildings and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of, obviously when doing scouting out for stuff, and he was looking for like hotels that kind of matched that, but he couldn't find anywhere that fit the criteria. So what he ended up doing was he like kitted out a big shopping mall.
All right.
That had obviously like the balconies and stuff. So, and then obviously like revamped it all up to make it all look like a hotel. So there's a lot of time
that must have cost a fortune
and effort to make those interiors.
Wow, and all the colours.
You think about all the lights, all the the polish on the metal and all that kind of stuff, and all these wonderful things that are put into the background. That's all like made from scratch, because obviously it's a very fanciful looking place.
Yeah,
obviously just in his head, it's bringing that idea to life. But obviously, such a place doesn't really exist in terms of structure and appearance. So make it your own. Yeah.
But fantastic, but like Jesus, how much budget did they have for this film? Wow, it shows all the effort that is put in the background. That is like, obviously the hotel looks really grandeur. Yeah, it does, but it's quite garish at the same time with the colours and stuff. So there's like pink building, it's got like red elevator, all these weird and kind of kooky colours. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Overlook
Hotel. Yeah,
with the way that it kind of had that vibe of the building. Obviously not until it got like really dark and sinister.
It wasn't going that way.
It was quite opulent within that hotel.
Yeah,
the same kind of
vibe.
No,
I mean, yeah.
I do think it's funny that we get certain characters within here. Like obviously you've got some really good leads. So you've got, we said his name, Jude Law.
Yeah.
Who now is the author of the book, which I didn't realise. You have Jeff Goldberg as whatever his name is. It's Goldberg to me. As an accountant or like a financial advisor, as well as like a will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a really strange role to see him.
Why is it strange?
Play, because all I've seen him in is Jurassic Parks, where he's like, look at me, and trying to be all sexy and everything. I did prefer him in, I won't lie, I did prefer him in Jurassic World, this one, the new one. Yeah. No spoilers, everyone, but he does seem a bit more humble.
Yeah, well, he's,
He's not like trying to get in everyone's pants.
He's seen things, man.
So, we also have Bill Murray.
Yeah, he's a main staple in these.
But he's not there long. He's like
no.
a little blip of him.
Yeah.
We have Voldemort.
Yeah.
He's actually alright when he's got a nose. It's a bit dishy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the main guy, Gustav.
And he's got a good voice.
Oh, yeah, he does.
It's a nice, Voldemort.
Calming voice.
Voldemort's voice isn't, but yeah,
Yeah, he has done other films other than
I haven't seen him in any other films. So I only know him as Voldemort, so it was nice to see him in a different light than Voldemort. Who else have we got? You were saying we've got I think I've seen Agatha, but I can't remember what in.
Saoirse Ronan. She was in that Galway Girl video.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
She had blonde hair. Blonde. I don't know, just I'm sure her hair's different.
You can dye your hair.
Yeah, you can. But yeah, she's Irish. She's got a lovely Irish accent. Yeah. Straight away reminded me of film bloggers.
Fiona.
Yeah. There's certain things like film. And I shouldn't say it, but in my head I was thinking of them.
That way, yeah.
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 I love a good Irish accent.
We've got, again, Owen Wilson, who had a small part as well, really.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was minimal. It didn't really bother me.
No.
It was like, oh, he was there. Now he's gone. That's fine. Just the right amount of him.
Yeah. And Tilda Swinton, as I say, is the old...
She's not there long either, to be
who
fair.
Died. Yeah.
She looked haggard.
Oh, that's a lot of makeup, though. Because she doesn't normally look like that. But they did a good job of making her look that way.
But it's all shows with this film. I think it's a lot of opulence. It's a lot of grandeur. Shows the rich life. And it shows how money is the root of all evil, basically. Because when someone dies, you mourn over that person and you should be upset for the loss, not thinking, oh, what am I going to gain?
Yes. Yeah, it's there for the will and testament, yeah.
It's just
a lot of
awful.
people coming out the woodwork there.
Yeah. That's the thing nowadays, so that's what it is. It's more, what can I get? Not, that person was a big part of my life. I'm going to be lost without them. I just think that just seems absurd to me. So obviously we've got his main act who, he's a bit of a sleaze, is Voldemort, isn't he? What's his name? Victor?
Gustav.
So we've got Gustav who is a bit of a sleazeball with womanizing, I'd say. He likes his old women.
Of us, like, certain that can be blonde and everything.
And rich. So I don't know if he is a little bit of one of those where it's like, I'll go, like a girl would go with somebody and they call him like a sugar daddy kind of thing. I don't know if it's more like equivalent of that, thinking, will I get in a will and get something? I don't know if that's, or if he genuinely does care for them.
It wasn't like in particularly Tilda Swinton's character that he was like, she's going to die, so I'm going to inherit her money or anything. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's just that he just likes that certain type of woman. But
he's not really loyal to any of them.
No.
He's got like a little bit of a harem going on of older women, which does seem strange because he could get somebody his own age, is, a manager of a lovely hotel.
Adds to the comic value of the film in that way. But he has a helping hand with, obviously, Zero, who is the lobby boy.
I love that relationship that they've got. Yeah. I think it's really, really key. And I think it's one of those where you saying it's Zero's, as the actor's first kind of role. That's
right, because it's introducing.
Yeah. And I think that having somebody such a young actor working alongside somebody who's been well known, that's like a really good way to start off your career, really. So
it's normally the way it goes, yeah.
It's kind of helping shadow him. It's not like you've just thrown him into a main lead act. And I think the relationship they've got on stage works.
Yeah, even though it's kind of he's quite integral to the story, so
he is, but I think.
But he did a good job of being. Again, it's kind of like the fact that he's like introducing him as his main role, and it's almost like his first day on the job, literally. He's like being the lobby boy and everything. Like, who are you? And
it works really well.
So it's kind of a sort of like nervous disposition about himself and not being sure of himself, and I like the fact that he like draws on a little mustache to make him appear more like grown up and everything.
Yeah, and older.
Yeah.
And you see him age throughout a little bit as well and grow up in his appearance, and obviously he gets Agatha and such, so you kind of rooting for Zero. You also get a touch of how racism was as well back in the day, and how certain people were trapped like on the train. So you didn't have a passport. And I really liked how, obviously, Zero with his manager as well, it was like one of those things where he always stuck up for him. He was always like, he's working for me. He's got a visa. And bless him, they used to always get a beating. But he would always stick by Zero. It was like he kind of took him in as his own son.
Yeah, for whatever reason, because obviously initially he was like, like what experience have you got and everything, a bit like wary about him, but then soon quickly warmed up to him. Really, I think he kind of just saw that he was a good hard worker and, wanted to be the best he could be, and that's what he, I guess, saw in himself, perhaps.
And I think as well he had nobody, and I don't think really either one had anybody really, and I think they created their own family. Sort
of about what he explained about is, being an immigrant, really, essentially.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know that at the point. There was like a point in the film where Gustav says this, and it's like, oh, sorry, I take all that back, because I didn't know how bad you had it, really, with your loss of your family and all that kind of stuff. So,
even though he's been in prison and he's a bit of a diva, isn't he? Really?
Yeah. Oh, how could you possibly not get my
perfume or
whatever?
aftershave? Yeah, he's a bit flamboyant, really. Within this, it's quite comical.
Yeah.
His character.
Yeah, he's just like darling as well as he. Like it's almost like a very camp
Yeah.
way of coming across.
But he, at the same time, he's got a harem of women.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's very odd, isn't it?
But
But again, just like the finer things, I think that's more just how he is.
Yeah.
But well, back to the whole will reading and stuff, and it's like, they're on the run from Madame D's, who's Tilda Swinton's character. She dies, and her son is like, obviously the one who's mainly wanting to get the money and everything, but there's like a priceless portrait called Boy with Apple.
It's really original, is the title. It's like...
Again, really funny that how that is like, it's just saying it Boy with Apple is just like such a...
Mm-hmm. But then they're like,
but it's like,
it's fantastic.
It's amazing, yeah.
I don't know if it's just because we're just not in that kind of grandeur, opulence kind of vibe where Boy with Apple, or if it's just they're trying to take a bit of the mick from it. I feel that's more it, I'd hope.
I don't know. But, I mean, it's not even like a very big...
I know. I don't even know what the whole thing's about. It doesn't even look that cracking when we've seen it.
No. Because I know obviously art is subjective, but I mean, I do prefer that kind of realism painting rather than some abstract squiggly line thing and that being like, this is the best thing ever, and it's worth millions and millions.
But then I did like Dali and I did like Picasso. I would say that they're quite great artists. However, like David Hockney, like his is like as boring as It's like a 5-year-old could have painted that, and it still goes. I know I shouldn't slag him off because he's like kind of famous artist from Bradford, but I don't think he's that great. I really don't. I think definitely there is other, like I like Andy. I think that's Andy Warhol. Yeah. Love. He's all the dots.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That comic style.
Yeah. See, I do know my paintings.
Don't know Boy with Apple though.
No, don't know Boy with Apple.
Again, this is all fictional, so it's...
Yeah, that's true. But I see some photography, because we learn all about that as well.
Obviously, he does get caught and everything, but when he's in the prison, it kind of reminds me a little bit of...
Can I guess what you're going to say?
Go on.
Paddington.
Yeah, Paddington too, yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's obviously because he's like well-spoken and everything like that, and he's coming around with the food, trying asking for, like, would you like some this slop or whatever?
Do you want a marmalade sandwich?
Yeah, I wondered if you'd written that down as well.
No, but I thought it in my head. Yeah, and he gets everyone to kind of join in with him and escape, which that's what Paddington does.
Yeah. So I kind of find that amusing. Obviously, this was way before that was a thing, but yeah, I can see the parallel there.
I wonder if Paddington kind of got
the idea
from there, thinking, that's a great scene, we can use that. I do think that lots of this is just golden within everything it does. Just everything about it. You've got really lovable characters everywhere you go. So you've got Agatha and Zero. They are such a cute couple, and on the third date he asks her to marry him. And it's like he's just like absolutely besotted by her. And even when Agatha's getting interviewed for a job and he's like, Zero's like, are you flirting with her?
Oh no, he's not getting. No, it's not a job. It's to.
What is it for then?
It's to an interview to obviously like see if she's worthy of being his.
Oh right.
Girlfriend.
Oh bless.
Yeah.
Imagine that. If that happened nowadays. Jesus. I don't know.
No, the job.
Would I have got past your parents? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have done.
What about you with mine? That might be a harder audience. And it just, the whole comical thing, but Gustav thinks Agatha's a perfect fit in the end. She's the one actually that does all the hard work. She helps him get out of jail by baking the goods and...
Yeah, there's, they're called Mendel's, is like this fanciful cake.
Patisserie
thing, yeah. Like those macaroons or whatever you call them.
I don't rate macaroons.
No?
No, they look pretty, but when you put them in the mouth, they're a disappointment.
Does that more of like a seen as top tier, like all the upper class cakes or sweet treat, but they just leave a lot to be desired.
Yeah, it's basically just a meringue. And I wouldn't pick Eat a Mess any day as a
No?
pudding. No.
Oh, I love eating this.
Do you?
Yeah, really nice.
No. It's like, why do I want cut up meringue into some strawberries? Like, give me
Better
a
than
crumble.
fruit salad. That is
Well,
like,
yeah,
that is
that
like
is the
the
shittest.
worst dessert ever.
Yeah, it is. But I'd rather have like a crumble or ice cream or something chocolatey. I would more go for that than Eat and Mess. See that and I'm like, pfft. But yeah, she's a brilliant baker. She's able to master baking tools so that they can kind of escape from prison. So without her in the story, he'd be still in prison. Yeah. You've got poor Jeff Goldberg, who's
Goldblum.
Goldblum. I'm gonna just call him Jeff.
Yeah.
Then we'll be all right. He's bless him. He's because of his job and the family that he's working for, and it's a bit corrupt, isn't it? And I don't know if that other guy that chucks his cat out the window is just like part of the family, or if he's just there like con man. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's was it Willem Dafoe who's with Norman Osborn from the Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He's getting that evil face about him, and he's
it's awful. Bless him.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if he's actually married, because it's like, well, somebody would just think he's just a bad person. Because he always plays bad characters.
But I'm not entirely sure actually. But yeah, he chops his fingers off anyway, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
I think there was a point when it startled you actually. It's like he put his hand on his shoulders and then there's like.
I thought he'd got away because he saw the bike and everything,
Yeah.
and I thought he was going to escape, and then he didn't.
That was the point where with the museum.
Yeah.
Closing in 15 minutes sign.
Yeah.
I said to you like how, because it was like one of those ones that it's not like a digital one or anything.
You
like
manually
that.
had to.
Yeah, so it's the fact that there was a cut to that as well, where it showed 50 minutes and then showed Willem Dafoe's character coming into the building as well, and then it said 14 minutes. So the person who was manning the desk, who was quite not away, but he was a distance from that, so you would have had to get up and change the sign just to do that every minute. So that'd be
what
like
a faff.
Yeah, not even that close. So
but then in that awful, you just sat there doing that, and it's just you're watching the time go by. That's literally your job. Yeah. Like, oh,
like that amazing.
Only a minute gone.
Yeah.
I've only been here 5 minutes. I've got 3 hours and whatever left.
But soon, once he gets out of prison, though, Gustav, with Zero, he enlists the help of the Society of Crossed Keys.
So we used to have a pub that got knocked down near ours old house called Crossed Keys.
Yeah.
I feel like this is to do with all the hotel societies, basically.
Yeah.
They're all like kind of interlinked, and it's kind of reminded me of what's it called now? John Wick, where there's a society where you get into these hotels and
that's it, Secret society, those kind of things.
Yeah, because that was in a hotel too. I know it wasn't as the level of what these guys did, and obviously Bill Murray was part of one of the hotel, and so was the Squash Nose Man.
Squash Nose Man?
Owen, what's his name?
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like a owner of a hotel or whatever, and they all had a lobby boy that was like their little sidekick. Yeah.
So it's a running thing with that as well, like concierge who has someone else to like understudy, basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you get into the point of where they're free and they send Poe Agatha in to get in the picture, basically, from the hotel. Mm-hmm. The hotel's been taken over by the Nazis.
Well,
it looks like the Nazis.
Didn't say the Nazis, but it's kind of like was it ZZ on the flags or something?
It's literally.
It's pretty much, that's what it's going to go for in a nice way. Yeah.
But you do feel for Agatha in this, because actually she's risking her life more than like anyone. Yet again, no one knows her face, so she's kind of like knows all of this, but she's not. No one knows that she's aware of it, so they send her in to get the picture, and clearly the whole kind of yet again other comical bit of a shoot off in the lobby and running away and
all that kind of stuff.
All of that comes into it, and hanging off the building with the picture. Mm-hmm. And within that, they find the original will.
Yeah.
That is, everything's going to Gustav, basically.
Yeah.
Which the family is like, absolutely devastated. But I think one of them basically poisoned her, by the sounds of things, and that's why she changed the will last minute. Because if anyone murdered her, she within a family, she would want to give it to not one of her family members. Which, I don't blame her.
That's right. Yeah.
It kind of ends a little bit bittersweet, I feel, because you kind of get Zero telling him that him and Agatha grew to kind of get married, and you see this happy story, and then it sounds like she gets pregnant, and sadly that kind of her and the infant both die.
Yeah, you don't see that happen, and it's told in a way that's kind of, again, like, I think it's like a fictional disease that's said, it happened, to make it a bit more light-hearted, but not like too despondent on the situation.
Yeah,
about it. And moves on quite swiftly with that anyway. So
it does, but it's still sad because you kind of see the relationship blossom, and he really still, even now, when he was going to talk about Agatha, was whelming up. Was Zero?
Yeah.
Gustav actually gets shot, sticking up for Zero yet again on the train.
Yeah. It does.
So he loses his life. So Zero ends up losing yet again 2 people that are really close to him, and he's kind of on his own again. By the end of it, all he's got is everything that Gustav had has gone to Zero now. But he has nothing, no one to share it with.
Yeah. So it's very sad in that regard. Yeah.
He says he keeps the hotel for Agatha because they were happy there, not for Gustav, but more because he had fond memories.
Yeah, which is quite a nice sentiment when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It's quite sad though.
Anything else?
I think just the bit at the beginning is obviously the girl with the book, and she puts something on a statue, which then comes back into play, which is what the cross key statue is. Yeah. So it's showing that the crossed keys statue is relating to the whole kind of empire of the hotels. Yeah. And it's been never kind of the same since, really. And it's now more like a story than actually reality. Even though, bless him, Zero still has this hotel, but it's just not got
as much to it now.
Even the lobby boy's not that great, is he? And that one he's gone off somewhere. And poor Zero's like, he must have gone for his lunch or something, and he's doing his job for him. But I think that's everything on for me. What about you?
No, just to reiterate with the whole, the big selling point for me on this is how you look at almost every shot, and it's how meticulously framed it is. It's almost either like perfectly centered, or it just looks very picturesque in how it's take a still from it and you can print it out and put it on the wall type of thing. Even obviously like the way that, but again, it's just obviously the director's style of movement, how like a character might look one way and then the camera pans in a certain way to across to a certain situation and all that stuff, and it's just the way that's all constructed and thought out is really good as well, and it just looks really nice.
It's beautiful and it's really colourful, and I even knew it was a colourful film before I went into it, and I don't know why I knew that, but I knew it was. Didn't really know what the film was about, to be fair, but it exceeded my expectations.
Okay. That's good then.
Because to say that, I was thinking, I'm going to get confused, I'm not going to be able to follow the storyline. All of that since the previous film that we'd seen
of his,
was a bit for me. I found it really hard to keep up, whereas this is really light-hearted. It's got really good comedy in it.
So, you are up first to score the film?
How dare you? Yep. I think this one's quite easy for me, to be fair. It's got everything that I need as a tick. It's got comedy, which is not cheesy. It's great. It's got colour. You've got your characters.
That's good then, yeah. Not black and white.
It's vibrant. It's vibrant. It's
eye-catching.
Yeah. And everything about it is just beautiful.
Yep. It's
just stunningly like this hotel. You do want to stay in it, even though it doesn't exist. But
yeah. This is the magic of the film, isn't it? It's kind of like you see these films because you cannot obviously physically go to a place like that and the stuff, and it's escapism in that sense. Yeah.
Mandolin. Or whatever they're called, cupcake, them.
Mendel's.
Yeah. Mandarin. Mendel's. that it's like, oh, I want to go there. It's like going to like Harrods or Betty's
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
that
like
kind
that.
of place. Yeah,
It's, you know, it
Style.
kind of gives you that vibe, really, that this is like a beautiful thing that you don't actually want to eat because it's so stunning.
Mhm.
But the most important thing for me is your characters.
Yeah,
And
you've got plenty of them.
Within this, you've got 3 that are golden, that you just love.
Mhm.
And yes, Zero is my favourite.
Mhm.
And Agatha, that relationship is wonderful. But Gustav is just like this comical, posh,
Right.
lovable person. Even though you're like, I really don't want to like you because you could be like this person that appears annoying. There's just something of a heart of gold in him at the same time with the way he takes Zero in.
Mhm.
So for me, it's going to be a 10.
Wow, that actually surprised me. I was not actually expecting a 10 from you. Wow, that actually surprised me.
Why?
I don't know. I had in my head that you're going to like 8 or 9.
Oh, well, I really look. I
Yeah.
wish. Can I take a picture of your face right now? Come here. We're gonna have to post that. Okay. Do you not think it's 10 worthy?
Oh, it's. I'd put it at 9.5.
Okay.
The reason it's not a 10 for me, it's a film I haven't seen a lot of. It's kind of just ones that it's good to come back to, but I feel like it's not something I need to see like constantly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Really, for me, the strongest points are all the visuals
Mhm.
and everything. You there for that. You can just look at there could be no people in the scenes, and it just be music or something and panning. That'd be like still amazing. So I don't know what would make it a 10 for me, but I am still quite like taken back. But I really did think that you were going to put it at considerably lower than that. You've actually surprised me there. That's got not in like a bad way, because I'm quite taken aback, honestly.
I don't know what to say because it is a really good
Yeah,
film and
yeah.
it feels like an oldie vibe, which was Singing in the Rain for
But
me.
it's set in an older period, but it's not. It feels modern, if that makes sense.
The
with the-
humour is a more, well, no, it's not. I think it is modern because obviously it looks modern,
Yeah,
but it's
shot in
still
digital. Yeah,
not at the same time.
Yeah.
They still really worked hard to make it feel old
okay.
for me, and I think it works really, really well.
So would you? So it's not like if you're saying that like Singing Rain was favourite. This is just in like your top 10 favourites.
Yeah, it's not beat Singing in the Rain,
Okay.
but I would definitely watch it again.
Oh, okay. That's well, clearly you would. If it's
So
10,
no brainer. I would watch it again.
Okay. That's good to know. I didn't know how much you enjoy it because of watching like the French Dispatch and thinking, oh, this is kind of a similar kind of thing, but it's slightly above that or something.
100%.
Yeah.
It's way better. Like I would never say to somebody, go watch that one. I wouldn't even want to rewatch it myself. No, because it would just really confuse me. And I was just like, I'm back and forth. The characters I'm not connected to. I don't know who is who as a older Roy, and it was just like really kind of more artsy and filmy, if that makes sense. Whereas this was still had all the elements of that film, but in a better manner that anyone could watch it and get some level of enjoyment out of it.
Okay.
I think that the French Dispatch is a certain niche for somebody.
Yeah.
It's not an over-rounder where everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah. Whereas this one, like I say, is definitely more an all-rounder of like when you say Wes Anderson film, this is what people normally are drawn to or know him for. So
and it just ticks all the right boxes. Whereas the French Dispatch, it's like I can't remember a lot of it, to be fair, and I think I just remember being confused and I got bored halfway through and couldn't keep up.
Okay.
Whereas this, you know what's happening. Certain bits I didn't, but now you've explained them to me, I'm really enjoying and want to watch it again just so that I can see them.
Okay. And see the aspect ratio as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that the author was at the end where I didn't twig, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, very, very good. Nice to have a very positive one this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Oh, Paul, I love you. You still look shocked. It's nice to keep you on your toes. Normally I'm predictable.
Yeah.
I like it.
Curveball there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode. And if you would like to check out some of our other episodes, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you might get your podcasts from.
And if you want to see Paul's face looking shocked, we do have Twitter, an Instagram page, and a TikTok page that you can follow us under. So it's under the handle SP_film viewers. So at some point I will be posting that. Obviously, after this is aired, there will be a picture of Paul's, because we don't want to spoil people before they listen to us. But
no, we're doing it in a way so that it makes still entice people to go and listen to this episode. Obviously, we're not going to just tell them.
But yeah, we're not going to tell you the scores before you listen.
I don't know why we're saying this bit in the thing, because when you listen to this episode,
Yeah, but there's going to be a picture, I'm sure. So if you want to see that, by all means, you can do that under his Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. No, we don't have Facebook anymore.
We do, but we just don't use it.
Don't use it. TikTok now and again. Under the handle SP_film viewers.
There we go. Yeah, that's the main thing. And of course, if you would like to leave a 5-star review, you can do so on Apple Podcasts and wherever else they do the scoring system.
And we do have a lovely Buy Me a Coffee page. I do know things are tight at the moment for a lot of people with everything going up. So we appreciate that money is not as easy at the moment. But if anyone does want to do any kind of donation or anything like that, then it is always much appreciated, especially for Paul, as he does all the hard work. And I think he might need a strong drink after my score because he's that shocked.
So thank you very much for listening, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.